want to grow, leaders who want to develop themselves, you know. Some of you guys might be asking, well, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? Well, I go by the name, and the government name for me is Dwayne Roberts. You can see it on the screen, also known as D Rob, man, Coach D Rob. I'm an influencer, brother. I'm a leader that looks to empower leaders, yep, to maximize potential so they can thrive and live the life uh, that they desire to live, you know, whether that's personal or in business. I believe this, that I believe that men are facing a lot of challenges in life. I believe leaders, I like to call men leaders, right? We all leaders, right? I believe leaders are facing a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of things that they want to do but don't know how to make happen in their life. If I could be honest, I was one of those dudes some years ago who just didn't know how to make his next move in life his best, man. And it was important for me to make my next move in life my best move. And that's why that's the impact I desire to make, man. I desire to help leaders make the impact they desire in life, man. So if you're rocking with me, I want to say thank you for taking time and connecting. You know, the truth is, tonight it's my aim to really fertilize the seed of potential. You know, awakening that deep spiritual part of you, your mind, your body, your soul. You know, that's been sleeping, lying dormant within you. You know, there's so much potential within us, man, and I don't think that we truly understand as leaders what we've been seated with, what God has gifted us with, what God has blessed us with, and because we don't often tap into that, man, we often are challenged by our thinking. We're challenged by what's comfortable. We're challenged by um, not believing that we can accomplish the things that we desire to accomplish because one, we may feel like we don't have the education. Two, we may feel like somebody does it better than you do. You know, I'm often encouraging individuals, men, leaders, to just go out and do whatever in their heart to go do, man. And realize this, that you don't have to do it perfect. You just got to get out and do it. You can hone the skills. You can get better at what it is that you desire to do. But if you never get into kicking into action, following through, doing the things that's important to you, man, you're going to remain stuck. You're going to remain limited, and you're going to remain challenged in life, man. And I want to help you overcome that challenge. Here, you know, one of my favorite quotes, right? One of my favorite quotes by Nathan McCall, and in his book makes me want to holler. If you haven't read that book, I encourage you get his book by Nathan McCall, Makes Me Want to Holler. I read this book some 20 years ago, and there's one phrase that sticks with me ever since I read that book over 20 years ago, and here it is. Nathan McCall said, "Free your mind, and the rest of you will follow." You know, free your mind. What's holding you in captivity? What are you thinking about that's limiting you from growing and developing yourself? You know, what do you have to let go in your life so you can take your life to the next level? What do you have to? What place do you have to get to believing that you can accomplish some things in life and get there? You know, think about that. So it's my desire, man, to really impact you um, through some simple biblical principles, leadership principles, and personal behavioral uh, preferences and strategies to help you leverage who you think you are and versus who you can truly become in life. You know, I really believe that you can do anything in life you so desire if you can get clear by getting hold of a vision, a plan, and fiercely executing towards the things that's most important to you. Just that simple, man. So if you rocking out, hey, I want to say thank you. I encourage you, man. Drop the comments in the chat. I got the chat up. I'm watching the chat. I'm gonna try to keep my eyes posted on the chat as I go. Let me know what you're thinking. Share your comments. Also, I'm gonna encourage you, man. If you ever want to come and join your boy, head over to the webpage, DwayneHRoberts.com, right? There, you can get access to the links, register for the events. Matter of fact, I'm just going to do a quick solid and go ahead and drop the link, the webpage link, right in the chat right now. It's there, man. Come connect. Come and connect. All right. So today I want to talk to you 4 keys to effective effectively leading others. You know, many how many leaders we got out there? How many leaders we got out there, right? I often ask that question. Where are my leaders at? Raise your hand. But I can't see everybody, right? So if you're a leader in the chat, go ahead, drop a one. Hey, you know what? I'm a leader. I believe I'm a leader. Drop the one in the chat. If you're not sure if you're a leader, go ahead, drop the two in the chat. Maybe you want to be a leader, you know, and you say, you know, that's something I want to be able to do. Go ahead, drop the three in the chat. So if you're a leader, drop me a one in the chat. If you don't believe you're a leader, go ahead, drop the two in the chat. And if you saying, hey, you know what? I want to improve my leadership. I want to become a better leader. Go ahead, drop the three in the chat. I encourage you. Let me know. Uh, the truth of the matter is we are all leaders. I believe leadership starts simply with you. No ifs, ands, and buts. The first person that you must lead each and every single day is you, you know? And so maybe as a husband, maybe as a father, maybe as an entrepreneur, a businessman, a manager on your job, whatever it may be, a leader in the community, man. You might be just saying to yourself, you know what? How do I improve my leadership? You know, and I just realized and remember for myself that when I transitioned the military into the civilian population, that leadership was a challenge for me. Yeah, leadership was a challenge for me. It wasn't that I couldn't get things done. Um, it wasn't so much that I wasn't a good leader. Well, I think one of the challenges was I didn't think I was the best leader, and two, I didn't always connect well with other people, right? And so, in my growth, in my development, and grooming and becoming the leader that I am today, I realized that then I had to make some changes. I had to adjust some things, adjust fire in how I was leading, because I think if I can say anything, it just simply was important to me. How do I lead? How do I lead at my home? You know, how do I lead when I'm not in charge? You know, how do I lead when I am in charge? Do I have to have all the answers? Do I have to be the go-to person? You know, and when you think about that, sometimes we get to this place where we think as leaders that we must know it all, have it all, be it all. And the truth of the matter is, man, when you understand your power to lead, your effectiveness. Let's say it that way. We scratch that word power, but we're going to use that a word effectiveness to lead. Um, you realize that when you lead yourself well, man, listen to what I'm about to tell you guys. When you lead yourself well, you change the dynamics in the game. Just that simple. The game changes when you lead yourself well, And so I want to encourage you, man, get to this place where you learn to lead yourself effectively. So because when you lead yourself effectively, the truth of the matter, you'll begin to lead others well. So I want to talk to you and give you 4 keys to effective leading. See if I can get this thing to act right. 4 keys to effective leaders. We're going to look at some point of views and boom. Is that good? I think you guys can't see me, but I'm about to bring my face on the screen. Bear with me. Mic is up. Boom, boom. And there I am. All right. Good. We're talking 4 keys to effective leading, right? And so here it is. Um, I believe the first key to effectively leading, right, is simply being able to ask questions and listen with understanding or listening for understanding. I think that's the one of the key things to leadership. I think sometimes when we think about leading and leading others, we misconstrue uh, trying to get the job done by telling people what to do versus getting people's opinion, asking people what do they think or how would they like to move in this situation? Where would they think they may be best utilized at, right? Ask questions, right? And then listening, as I developed in my leadership as well as a coach, I realized that these two uh, points of views or keys kind of went together. This key here, asking questions and listening for understanding, being able, one, to communicate, uh, one, to communicate effectively, but understanding that communication is the language of leadership. That's just as simple. John Maxwell said that, right? So the question, I mean, the truth is, questions drive connection. Did you get that? Questions drive connection. And and when you think about this, right? When I think about this leadership aspect and leading the others effective, the one thing that my aim to do is to be able to connect with others, and to be able to connect with others through asking questions, connecting with others through listening. And so when we ask questions, the truth of the matter is we begin to place value. Yep. We begin to place value on others. I mean, think about this. Who doesn't like to be to be able to speak or share what they thinking or feeling? You bet ever walked in a room or sat with somebody and you just asked them how was their day? They tend to light up. Maybe you might ask, well, how was your family? They start sharing more, right? Then you ask them, what do they do? And they start talking even more. And before you know it, you just asking a series of questions, and individuals, you are building rapport, you are connecting with people. And it's a great opportunity for you as a leader, right? To simply listen, just simply listen, because great leaders listen. That's a great attribute of a leader, is to simply listen. So many leaders, particularly those uh, who relate to the avatar Isaiah, or within the flight assessment, right? So there's Isaiah is an avatar in that flight assessment, when my workshops that I use when I'm training men, that kind of relate to that of the flight assessment profile. And Isaiah's profile represents that of a flight attendant, right? And when you think about a flight attendant, they love people, they love connecting with people, they love talking with people, they love helping people, you know. And sometimes some leaders, much like myself, can get to this place where we just become over talkative, like we controlling the conversation, we controlling everything because we always talking, you know. And if you can get to this place as a leader to kind of dial yourself back and learn to ask questions, I promise you, you'll begin to start seeing a shift in how you begin to connect with other people. You want to build stronger relationships, ask questions. Yep. You want to be a more effective leader, start asking questions. Yeah. Sit down and listening to what others have to say. Allow others to offer their input. Listen, if you want to get hold of the flight assessment, man, I encourage you, head over to, matter of fact, I'll drop that link in the chat too, man. You can head over, hit the link in the chat, and you can also get access to uh, the flight assessment. There, you'll be able to identify your what makes you unique. What's your behavior style? What's your leadership behavior preference, right? And you'll be able to better understand why you do what you do. So now I want you to understand this though. While asking questions is key and listening is equally important, there are five levels to listening, right? Five levels of listening. One is non-listening. This is when a person chooses not to listen, yep, to any part of the conversation. Then there's passive listening, where you're able to carry out a conversation with little or no participation. Oh, I should be sharing that with you, right? There we go. Let me share that with you right there. Yep. There's non-listening, there's passive listening. And passive listening is when you're able to carry a conversation with little or no participation. Then there's limited listening, right? It's limiting listening is while you're in conversation, you're listening, but use listening as best as you can, right? You're tuning in and out. Like some of you might right now be connecting with me, watching the program, but at the same time doing something else, talking with somebody else, looking around, passive listening, you tuning in and out. Then you have selective listening, right? Where you recall the main points, you recall the big ideas. However, you missed all the details. you, you ever been in those type of conversations? Uh, and when you mostly find this out, you see this selective listening in training and workshops, events. You might be sitting in a meeting or something of that sort, and you'll hear the main point, or you may hear the big idea that's about to take place, but you missed all the details, right? So you're selectively listening. And then the fifth level of listening is that of true listening, right? And as I see, I didn't fit on the slide. Oh, it is on the slide, but it didn't show up. Interesting. All right. True listening. This listening is the highest level of listening. That means that you are into what's being said. You giving your all. You are attentive to the speaker. So think of this, or remember this. Questions are a way to simply start conversation, but listening intently encourages the conversation to continue. Yeah. Now, there's something fabulous about listening, right? There's something real fabulous about listening, and understanding. Well, let's say it this way. There's something fabulous about asking questions, listening, and understanding, right? And here we go. And that is the art of listening. You know, uh, it simply is another approach to how we listen. And so, what do I mean by the art of listening? The art of listening is simply nothing more than the acronym, right? Art, acknowledge, don't repeat, and translate. So, what do I mean by the art of listening? I mean, improving your listening skills, improving your communication skill with people is essential to effective leadership, right? So being able to listen, or practice the art of listening by acknowledging what others are saying, meaning you don't interrupt at any point. Instead, you acknowledge what's being said. And oftentimes we do this by head nods, making eye contact, even maybe even repeating what's been shared with us, or you might do a little, oh, I understand now, adding a brief comment during the conversation. The R in the art of listening, to repeat, rather immediately jumping in into the conversation when there's a break in the conversation. The truth is, you just take a pause, yep, and you begin to translate to the best of your understanding what's been shared with you. You repeating back what's been shared to you. And then the T in art, translate. Simply repeating what's been said to you will help you clarify and gain better understanding. Did y'all get that? Yep. So the number one, yep, key for effectively leading others is being able to ask questions and listen for understanding. Number two, I want to encourage you, man. Simply connect with people, man. Being able to connect with people. Have you ever considered that leadership, man? Leadership is truly about creating change. And you can't create change without being able to connect with other people, right? So here's food for thought. Leaders often asking others to change their focus, right? In some cases, we even asking other leaders to change their direction. You ever wanted to do something and you could realize that you couldn't do it by yourself? So the truth of the matter is you had to connect with some people. You had to connect with someone, you know? Um, and so being mindful that leadership is truly about creating change. But when you create change, you want to be able to connect with people. and understand that we're asking people to give their focus, their time, their energy to something that we deem is important to us, right? Um, so so let's be real. Leaders must develop trust before people even begin to start following. Just that simple. To be able to connect with people, you must be able to build or develop trust. Now, we understand this, that trust is simply the building block for all relationships, you know. And with that said, trust is essential to any relationship. If the people don't trust you, the people won't follow you, you know? And so I just want you to be mindful of that when connecting with people, that you must build trust. You know, some leaders are primarily focused on the task, right? And because we're task oriented, we struggle with being connecting with people, right? And so being a task focused leader might be challenging for some leaders, right? I want to get my train of thought back on this one. Some leaders are focused primarily on tasks, and because of that, task-oriented leaders may find it difficult and may require some work when connecting with other people. And I say that because if trust is essential to leadership, leaders must understand that they can't just be focused on the task, but they must take time. Yep, take time for people, take time for others. Now, in some cases, some leaders are more focused on people. And because they're more focused on people, they naturally connect with people. They do it. It seems flawless. It's a natural act for them. So here it is for me myself. I'm focused. I'm a people oriented style leader, and so it's easier for me to connect with people um, naturally. I naturally do that, right? So that's not a challenge for me, but some leaders might have that challenge. And I want I and when it comes to building trust, when it comes to being building trust, you must understand where your focus is, where your focus is. Because where your focus is, that's where your energy flows, right? We understand that, right? And so it's important for leaders to establish expectations when connecting with other people. And so I want to give you 4 keys to connect with other people. One, get to this place. If you're the type of leader that primarily focuses on tasks, listen, get to this place where you just simply value people. Yep. And and let them know that you value them. Value people. Share it. Let them know you value. Man, that's amazing. Man, I think you're phenomenal. I think you bring such wealth of knowledge to the team. You know, let them know you value them. You know, as a leader, highlight their value that you see in them. You know, that was phenomenal how you broke that you built that strategy or that plan. You know, I love how you established that first step to coincide with step number 3. You know, you just want to encourage them, right? Realize this. Number 3, share growth expectations. I believe this, that every leader is a learner. Just that simple. If you're going to be in a leadership position, if you are leading anyone outside yourself, the truth is you have to be a learner. And so establishing that growth expectation is important, you know, and then constantly connect with people, you know. I think this is probably one of the things that I'm learning to do the most is to keep the relationships, always connecting with people, always going the extra mile, giving the effort to build and strengthen relationships. It's not just rapport, but it is strengthening relationships that's important for me, man. And so constantly connect with people. So 4 keys to connect with other people. One, value people and let them know you value them. When you do that, highlight what you value about them. Yep. share growth expectation with other leaders, and constantly connect with them, man. Is that good? At least I hope so, right? I hope that's good. So we tapped on the first two keys of effective leadership. One is asking questions and listening for understanding. Two, connect with people. And we're going to hit number three. There we go. Number three is demonstrate transparency. And so what I mean by that, demonstrating transparency, man, I think it's important for us as leaders, man, to practice authenticity and transparency, right? Gosh, I can't say that enough, man. I think authenticity and transparency are vital. Yep, vital to your leadership, man. Let me just make some room here. And so you as a leader can increase your capacity to lead others by simply being authentic, being your authentic self. I think if I can't say anything else, authenticity is key. And what I mean by and authentic, just being your authentic self. So and transparency. So what I mean by that is most leaders believe that they have to be something that they're not. Yep. I got to be the best at it. I got to be great. I got to look like this. I got to talk like that. And I don't think that you have to do anything other than be you to be an effective leader and to effectively connect with others. And authenticity, people I believe are looking for authentic style leadership. Yep. They're looking for authentic leaders. They're looking for leaders to be transparent. And so, what I mean by this for you as a leader, man, take time, man, to simply share your story. That's it. Yep. Take time to share your story. You don't have to be perfect. Yep. And I think too often we think that we must be or project this image of being perfect and having leadership credibility when the truth is the power you have as a leader is in your story. The power that you have as a leader is in your transparency uh, of sharing your flawed areas of life. The power of your ability to connect and effectively with others is sharing your imperfections. You know, these can be what really inspire other people to their greatness. You know, these these truly can be what make you an effective leader. And I think too often we try to hide behind this facade of something or what we're not or who we aren't, you know. And if I can just add a little transparency to that. I think some of that was some of my biggest struggle in my early leadership was that I didn't want people to see that I was flawed. I didn't want people to know that I was broken. I didn't want other leaders to know that maybe I didn't know something. You ever been in a leadership position where you try to portray that you knew something that you simply didn't know? And the truth of the matter, the outcome became worse because you were in this place of facading versus being in this place of authenticity and transparency, you know. And so I think the best place for leaders is for them to simply show up um, and empowering others through their story. Just that simple, man. Just that simple. And then number four, uh, I want to encourage you to put other people first. Just that simple. Last and not least, put others first. Get to this place where you are focusing on equipping and empowering people. Just that simple. That's get removed from I don't know. I say that because this is a powerful place to be, putting others first. I think that's a powerful place to be where you simply stop to a focus and realize that my ability to lead effectively, yeah, is while it's true, leading myself well, you know, it's true, being able to be authentic and transparent. However, putting others before me, their needs. Yep, serving people. And here's a prime example of that. As a coach, and an male empowerment coach, it's my aim and drive to serve, right? And of course, you want to help everyone. You want to help everyone, right? But sometimes sometimes everyone can't afford you. We just be real. They can't afford your price. They might want the help. They might want the support, but they may not be in a position, right, to render your services. And I say this because I sat in this place. I sat in this place where wanting to be better. I sat in this place of wanting to connect with like-minded people. I was in this place where I wanted to grow myself. And the truth of the matter was, I didn't always have the finances to do it. You know, I simply recall, I simply recall this one incident. Uh, to had the opportunity to work with this phenomenal coach, um, Joe Martin. I was trying to remember his name, Martin, Joe Martin. Right. I had an opportunity to work with this phenomenal coach, Joe Martin. And I remember Joe saying to me one time, he said, D, I don't mind coaching you, but you're gonna have to pay this fee each month, and I was like, oh, Joe, I can't pay that fee, brother. I can't pay this fee, right? And I felt I felt two kind of ways about it. One, I was kind of ticked off that he asked to charge me. Two, two, I thought he just wanted to take my money. I'm just being real. I'm just being 100. I'm being transparent right now, and because of that, I didn't work with Joe. I didn't work with Joe, right? And so years later, I connected with another phenomenal coach, and I got connected to the Eric Thomas brand, right? And officially execution coaching program. So for me, that was extremely big ticket, but I did it anyway because I wanted it bad enough, right? But the lesson learned for me was this: that one, when you want something bad enough, one, you'll pay for what you truly want, you know. But the bigger takeaway for me was to be mindful as a leader, as a coach of those individuals that I try to support, those individuals that come behind me. You know, I believe that there's transformation, transaction, there's transformation when transaction happens. When there's a transaction, transformation takes place, right? You have to give something to receive something, and whether that's your time, financial resources, or whatever the case may be, you definitely have to give something to get something back in return. And oftentimes, as passionate leaders coming up, wanting more, want to be better, want to develop yourself, you're not always in the best financial position to support your dream. Just that simple, you know? And so for me, putting others first, thinking about others, one passion or one drive for me is being mindful of where I was those years that I was growing and developing myself. Yeah, being mindful. That doesn't mean I do it for free. I'm just mindful. And so being able to put others for, oftentimes you'll see me come and I do the videos. I do them absolutely free. Some guys even coach with me absolutely free. You know, being mindful is of others, putting others first is important to me by being mindful of what I experienced in my own life and how I can, I guess, how I can return it, pay it forward. That's the word I'm looking for. How I can pay it forward for others, man. So I want to encourage you with that today, man. Four simple keys, guys, to of leading effectively. One is, as a leader, get to this place where you begin to ask questions and listen for understanding. Yep. Realize that communication is the language of leadership and questions drive connection. Two, connect with people, man. Um, Leadership is all about creating change. And for you to create the change that you desire to see in the world, you must build trust. You must build strong relationships, and trust is essential to leadership. Three, I want you to get to this place where you simply demonstrate transparency. Be your authentic self. Yep, just that simple. Be your authentic self. People will truly appreciate that. Realize that as the leader that you are, you don't have to be all and know all for all people, man. You may not know the answer. It's okay. I don't know, you know. Um, and in this place of transparency, man, simply share your story. Share your hardships. Share your flaws, because you never know the life that you can impact. And lastly, as I get ready to close this thing out, man, I want to encourage you to put others first. Just that simple. Focus on equipping people and empowering them. So whatever it is that you're passionate about doing, I want to encourage you to get hold of your dreams, your visions, put a plan to it, and fiercely execute towards the things that most important to you. Just that simple, man. Listen, if this was good and this was impactful, man, you was able to take anything away, I want you to do me a big favor, man. I see you, brother, Wesley. Yep, absolutely. I sure will. Um, I want to encourage you, man. Go to the webpage, schedule your officially execution call with your boy today. Go over to DwayneHRoberts.com. I love to connect with you. I love to see how I can help serve you and help you become the needed change you desire to see in the world.